Okay.
Hi guys, and welcome to Tnashi's Movie Corner. And for today's movie review, I will be reviewing The Cabin in the Woods, which came out on April 13th of 2012 and was directed by Drew Goddard and was written by Josh Whedon as well as Drew, and stars Christian Connolly, Chris Hemsworth, and Anna Hutchinson. For the synopsis here, 5 friends go for a break at a remote cabin in the woods where they get more than they bargained for. Together they must discover the truth behind the cabin in the woods. Now, I'm going to say up front, I love the title. Kind of represents a generic theme for a lot of horror movies, and I think that fits really well. I'm going to try not to spoil this movie too much. This movie was not what I thought it would be initially. It's a horror mystery thriller. At least that's what its category is. And I think there was just a lot more to be had. I thought the acting was actually pretty good throughout the entire thing. Bradley Whitford is also in this movie, and I like him. I thought he was pretty funny. I'm a big fan of Chris Hemsworth. I think he does a good job in any movie I've seen him in. Kristen Connolly as Dana. I thought she was fine. I recall seeing her in other movies, and she played the part well. Which is funny because she's the main character, but she's not really the one I prefer. But yeah, it doesn't take too long into this movie to realize that there's a lot going on with this movie. There's a lot to it. I think it was kind of neat, some of the things that they chose to do. Things that, even though they gave it a generic horror movie title, it is not a generic horror movie. There's a lot going on to it that someone wouldn't expect just going in to this film. So that's all well and good. Again, wasn't any scares, really, at least not for me. Didn't find any. I was more interested in the film than I was scared by it. But it's a good thing to have interest, so I give it props for that. I give it props for good acting, because you don't always see that in movies. And I give it props for kind of the direction that they choose to take the movie, what they set out to accomplish with this movie, and I think they delivered on that. So a lot of good things kind of going for it in that regard. That being said, when you find out some of the stuff that happens or is happening, you find it out early on. I would have preferred that to be a big reveal at the end, because I think there's definitely scenes throughout the movie where if you're piecing it together like the 5 friends are, bit by bit, if you were just piecing it together and only getting the clues that they're getting and not getting everything, and I think it would have been a better delivery of this at the end of the movie. It would really work, I think, better than what ended up happening. And that's really a big flaw to me in this film, because again, what they set out to do, I do think they did that, but I think they did that in a way of which, just watching the film, you think, oh, it could have been so much better, so much more impactful. And maybe they didn't want to do that. Maybe they didn't want to give it like a Shyamalan type of conclusion or everything. But I think they delivered enough pieces there to where, as an audience member, you can follow along. And this movie's kind of a nod, a love letter in a way to horror films, but it could have been so much more if it had actually delivered the scares like other horror films do. And when you have something that has really a well-written story, and again, characters that you're actually kind of connected with in a way, even though they fit your typical character standards, there's enough to them, and there's enough kind of interesting stuff going on with the plot that keeps you engaged in this movie. That had they done it one way, this film would have been, I think, brilliant. And because they didn't, it actually took a lot out of this movie for me. Because in a way, they kind of punked everybody that was watching it. At least I think. And I get what their intent was, but yeah, I'm fine with the ending. I'm absolutely fine with the ending. I'm not usually fine with the endings in horror films, but I am absolutely fine with this ending. I thought it fit, it made sense, and I liked seeing the killers in this film. I thought it was really cool for that aspect of it. And there's actually quite a bit of comedy in this that I think works pretty well, which is surprising that you would even have that in a horror film. But I did like the comedy part of it. But I guess that's the thing for me. Like, it's labeled as a horror mystery thriller, and there wasn't enough horror or mystery for me. So I really feel let down by that. And giving it a rating, I am going to give it a 7 out of 10. Because I do think there's enough there to warrant it, for sure, being that high. There's a lot that it does, and it does really well. But it's kind of because of those knocks I said that it is a 7 and not a 10. Because it could have been easily a 10 had there just been a few changes to it. At least in my opinion. And, this is all my opinion. Maybe some of y'all enjoyed it more. Have you seen this film? Go ahead and comment down below and let me know what you thought of the film. And again, I was trying to steer clear from spoilers, because I think this movie is probably better if you go into it not knowing everything that's happening. But in any case, go ahead and comment below and let me know what you thought of this movie. Hopefully you enjoyed this review, and click that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Watch my other vids. I really appreciate hearing from you guys. And until next time, peace.